안녕하세요, 안석훈입니다. 오늘은 모처럼 귀한 분을 모시고 미국 증시에 대한 이야기 좀 나누도록 하겠습니다. 그레니 쉐어즈의 CEO이신 윌리엄 린드를 모시고 미국 증시에 대한 이야기 들어볼 텐데요. 특히 트럼프 대통령이 이제 재임 이후에 많은 변동성이 나타나고 있습니다. 그러한 상황에 대해서 미국 현지에 계신 우리 윌리엄에게 직접 물어보고 답을 들어보는 시간 갖도록 하겠습니다. Thank you for coming and giving an interview.
Thank you.
Thank you. 첫 번째 질문입니다. 트럼프 대통령의 관세 정책이 미국 경제에 미치는 영향은 무엇인가요?
The main impact that the Trump tariffs, etc., are having on the economy is uncertainty. And it's uncertainty because we don't know exactly what the final position will be on tariffs right now. And so that's why you've seen this uncertainty lead to a fall or a correction in the US stock market so far this year. So I think that what the market is looking for is some clarity, and we're supposed to be getting that in April in terms of more of a final position on what the tariffs will be, and then I think the market goes from there.
두 번째 질문하도록 하겠습니다. 트럼프 대통령의 정책 불확실성이 글로벌 증시에 미치는 영향에 대해서 한번 질문을 하겠습니다.
Well, I think we've seen so far that the uncertainty has certainly manifested itself most obviously in a correction in US stocks. Now, this is to some degree plausible given that we don't know exactly the direction of it, but we've seen, for example, some European stocks perform quite well on the back of perhaps other countries needing to invest more in their economies, which could benefit the stock market. So at the moment, I think it's fair to say that a bit of uncertainty around the globe as people think about how the US policy or the trade war will impact the local stock markets.
세 번째 질문을 드릴 건데요. 트럼프 대통령의 정책이 특정 미국 산업에 미치는 영향은 무엇인지 한번 확인해 보도록 하겠습니다.
Yeah, so I think at the moment we've seen this uncertainty. However, within that uncertainty, there have been some areas where I think their stocks have performed well, and that is to say that areas that are not going to be affected by a trade war. So, for example, domestic healthcare. So, US healthcare has performed well this year. Other industries that are domestic to the US, manufacturing, some of the banking stocks or financials, telecommunications that are specific to the US. These stocks in these areas have performed well because they don't have any exposure to the tariffs or the trade war. It's really just the stocks that have a global exposure, so large technology companies that are operating globally and or other industries that have a global footprint.
앞으로의 미국 시장 전망은 어떻게 보시는지 한번 묻도록 하겠습니다.
I'm still positive on the US market. I think that if you look at the performance of the S&P 500 index under the first Trump presidency and you compare it to now, it's very similar. So the line is tracking very similarly. So when there was the trade war that we saw 8 years ago, that people were very unsure as to how it would end up. This time around, it's a very similar story. Now, I think that we're getting to a position whereby the trade positions with major partners such as China, Canada, Mexico, etc., will be established. Then the market will be able to move forward. So I think a lot of people are focusing on perhaps the next 6 months or the last 6 months of the year, being very positive. But I think it's an opportunity for people that are looking at, say, some of the tech companies that now are trading at a valuation that is much more attractive than it was a few months ago at the end of last year. And so if you look at stocks like NVIDIA, you know, stocks that were very popular the last couple of years, nothing has changed fundamentally. The reason why the stock is down is because of uncertainties around the trade war, but it's nothing specific to do with NVIDIA. Tesla, perhaps the only one you could say, okay, there's perhaps weaker sales, other things going on there with regards to Elon Musk's position in the government with Trump. But the other major tech companies, whether it's Meta, whether it's Palantir, whether it's Nvidia, AMD, etc., none of this is affecting the stock directly.
미국 시장 상황에 대해서 이제 어떻게 대비해야 할까요? 오늘 4월 2일 이제 상호 관세가 적용이 될 텐데 그 전까지 흐름에 대해서 조금 확인해보고 그 이후에 대한 전망도 한번 물어보도록 하겠습니다.
I think investors that are using the leveraged single stock ETFs specifically are typically short-term in nature.
Right.
And so they understand that this volatility is actually something that they look forward to and get excited about. Because what we've seen is the market is down, but it's going up and down and up and down and up and down. So there's opportunities to buy and sell. We've seen a lot more interest in the short ETFs. So for example, I think Tesla, shares of Tesla have been down every week since Elon Musk went to Washington.
Yeah.
So for those holding our TSDD, which is the 2x short, that's up over 100% year to date. So definitely people that are looking to get short exposure, it's an opportunity that exists in a market where it's going up and down. But I think we've still seen a lot of people buying the dip on the long side because Nvidia's valuation now is very similar to Apple, but yet Nvidia is a company that's growing its sales by over 70% per annum. And this is a company that's growing a lot faster and probably will reach a $4 trillion valuation, maybe even this year. So I think it's an interesting opportunity for people that, wherever there's volatility, there's opportunity. And for people who are short-term, are nimble, who are able to, trade, buying and selling, they like this volatility because it creates opportunity.
자, 지금까지 5개의 질문에 대한 윌리엄 린드의 답변을 들어봤고요. 자, 이 레버리지 인버스 ETF는 사실 일반 투자자분들이 투자하기에는 적절하지 않은 상당히 위험한 상품입니다. 하지만 시장의 변동성이 클 경우에 트레이딩 관점에서 접근하신다면 좋은 투자 기회를 마련하실 수 있으니까 주의하셔야 하지만 또 너무 이게 어렵게 생각하지는 마시고요. 하지만 조심스러운 접근 필요하다는 점 다시 한번 말씀드리겠습니다. 오늘 함께 해주신 그랜시어즈의 CEO인 윌리엄 린드 함께 자리해 주셔서 고맙습니다. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. Great to see you again.
네, 그럼 다음에 또 윌리엄 모시고 또 함께하는 자리 만들어 보겠습니다. 고맙습니다.